I'm so S&C, I can't do it. Welcome back to the CP Living Room, and today we wanted to touch upon something that's really common over lockdown, and it's knee pain. We know a lot of people have developed knee discomfort, knee problems over the course of lockdown, whether that's been because on one end of the scale you've done very little, being inactive, stuck at home doing your work, or at the other end of the scale, maybe you've been doing new types of exercise, new training regimes, whether that's been something like going out running most days, or whether it's been doing a home Joe Wicks workout. And again, problems with the knee discomfort have just started to become a little bit too much, and you need to do something about it because it's getting in the way of your training and probably being a bit disruptive on a day-to-day basis. So today we just want to share with you why that's happening and just a couple of key solutions that you can use to start to get back to where you want to be so there's not a problem anymore.
Right, that knee pain might be happening then. Well, a lot of you, particularly if you've done a lot of sport over the course of your life, will have a bit of wear and tear in your knee. That's completely normal, but it just means that joint's a little bit compromised. Why we've seen that flare up in lockdown in particularly though, is if you have been a little bit inactive and the muscles around that knee have got weaker, there is no longer that support for the joint that would have previously been there. With that, the joint will start to move in ways where it's not necessarily aligned perfectly because it hasn't got the support of the joint. And that's when you can start getting those irritations and inflammations that cause the pain that you might be feeling. Now, secondly, related to that, a lot of people, perhaps yourself included, will have tried exercises or training sessions that you wouldn't normally have done. Take home circuits or boot camps or even Joe Wicks with the kids, for example. Now, what that means is quite often these are higher impact and higher force. And if you haven't got the underlying strength and stability in that joint, perhaps because you've been a bit inactive, your body no longer has the capacity to handle those forces that you're putting it through when you're doing those high impact jumps and landings and skips. And that's where, again, the joint gets slightly compromised, slightly out of position. You start seeing that inflammation and pain. So what can you do about it?
To develop strength then to support your knee joint, to reduce and eliminate that pain, where do you actually train? What muscles? Now, as you probably guessed, muscles that directly support the knee are important. So things like your quadriceps and hamstrings do play a role, but often an area that's really overlooked that plays just as an important role, if not sometimes more, is the strengthening around the muscles at the back of your hips, for example, your gluteal muscles. So while you do want to use movements and exercises which do develop strength within the leg itself, which connect directly to the knee to stabilise it, we also do want to look a bit more broadly and make sure as well we're developing strength within the hips, so all bases are covered, so we're getting as much support, as much stability as possible, and eliminating that pain in the best way.
Alongside that, what you might need to do, particularly in the short term, is take out any of those aggravating exercises. So perhaps for the time being, jump squats aren't the option for you, and likewise, maybe you've just got to pare back on the mileage on your running a little bit. It's not to say you can never get back to those exercises, but while you're building the strength and stability in your muscles, the capacity to tolerate those exercises, perhaps you just need to have a little bit of a breather of them for the time being.
So we're not saying that you can't do strength exercises. Actually, on the contrary, we're saying that you really do need to do them. But it's maybe the case that you need to modify how you do them compared to what's conventional. There's a couple of ways we can do that. One of them is to reduce the range of motion of some of those exercises, because essentially, particularly with the knee, when we go through deeper range of motion, it puts the knee joint in a more compromised position, and then gradually maybe be able to return that back to normal. The other thing that we can do is by adapting the stability of an exercise. So often, particularly if the knee's quite bad, more unstable positions like single leg positions that you might have like in a lunge, they can be more painful, they can cause more discomfort, and that's where maybe you start to use more stable lower body exercises, for example, whether that is more of a squat based movement or a hip lift movement, and then gradually we can start to maybe put in some single leg work that's got a little bit more instability in it, but again causes no pain.
If you're looking to get back to your fitness and training work then, and your knee is giving you jip, please do get in touch. Gym opening is not far on the horizon, and we'd love to be able to speak about how we'll be able to, one, help you fix your knee pain, and two, manage it as you work around your other goals, whether that's losing weight or sports performance or just feeling awesome. Get in touch, we'd love to hear from you, and we can definitely help.